Welcome to Dice and Pixels episode 5. Are we up to 5?
We are up to 5, yes.
Ah, there you go. We're up to episode 5. Welcome to Dice Pixels episode 5. This is the horror and supernatural themed episode for Halloween.
We should have a special theme that's like horror-based, like a normal theme, but played on a harpsichord.
I don't want to do that. How you going this week, Puck?
I'm great. I'm awesome. I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am awaiting on Australia Post to bring something to my house.
Oh, yes. Your, what's it called? The Rolly Roller Polar?
Rolly Seaboard Rise. Anyone that works in music out there will know what I'm talking about and know why I'm...
You know, they kind of reminded me of a little bit, but obviously, no. You know the Feynman instrument.
The what?
The one that what's it called? The one that Richard Feynman plays. Oh my god! I just looked up Feynman instrument. It came up Richard Feynman playing the bongos. That's what
Yep, that's what I found as well. I would be careful. I would be careful keying in anything instrument into Google if you have safe search off.
No, it's a thing they use the intro to Star Trek, like the original series. Theremin, not Feynman. Sorry, I'm thinking of physicists as opposed to
Thought that because I'm like, that guy didn't play anything apart from the bongos.
Apparently the bongos. He's quite talented.
Anyway, we've gotten off topic. So this episode,
Yeah.
This episode, we speak with the creator, well, one of the creators behind Netherworld Arcade and Bar, which is an up-and-coming place in Fortitude Valley. I am going to be going through and doing a little mini review on a game that I actually picked up ages ago, which is described as a supernatural thriller called Oxenfree.
And I'm going to be doing a mini review of one called Alien Worm, which is one that I very lazily downloaded today.
Oh, exciting. Alien Worm. It sounds...
It's actually not bad. It's not bad for a free 8-meg
They're
game.
only a tenth of the way to the youth trainers, but 100 times better already.
Oh, we should have saved youth trainers for this episode.
No, because it's a different...
It's classic.
It's a different kind of horror show, man. It's not a horror show, as in it's scary. It's just awful. I agree. It's horrible. So, cool. Okay, we'll get things started off. We have Ben on the line from the up-and-coming Netherworld Arcade. Hey, Ben, how you going?
Hello. I'm very good. How are you guys?
Very, very good. I know Puck has a sea of questions because we found out, what was the other day, Puck? You realized that you actually used to live next to this guy for years ago, wherever it was.
Couple of years at least.
Well, yeah. What? 3 years ago? 4 years ago? 3 or 4?
Something like that. Yeah, about that.
Yeah. No, but more than that. Like, as in, used to look after each other's dogs until we failed to look after Ben's dog one time, and then he wouldn't let us look after the dog again.
I have one of my dogs is about 17 centimeters long. She's a very precious little thing, and
wow.
It's hard not to get very protective of something that tiny and annoying and loud.
Let's get on the bar. That's what everyone wants to hear about. Puck, you had a whole pile of stuff you wanted to ask. I'll let you go first because I always go first. So.
Oh yeah, I definitely had lots of questions.
Sure.
Do you know what any of them are? Do you know what any of them are? Okay.
No, I got home like 4 minutes ago.
It's no excuse. You should have been prepared. This is radio. Or
no,
radio.
that's right.
Not really.
Yeah. No. My questions were mostly around what are your plans for like a community engagement? So, are you looking to get regular groups operating out of there, or just build a bar and hope they come? Like, are you working with anyone?
I suppose. All right. I suppose in podcast context, I should probably explain what the bar is first.
That's a great idea. Actually, for anyone that didn't hear it last week, here you go. This will be a better rundown than the one we gave when we found it.
This is Ben.
I'm Ben. Okay, so how do we summarize this? I did it well on the internet the other day. I'll try and do it again now. Okay, we are opening a place called Netherworld. Netherworld is a gaming bar first and foremost, but it's not just a gaming bar. It's located at the old Step In / Underdog, 186 Brunswick Street in the Valley.
Thought
It's not open yet. It'll get
That's
there.
where I knew the address from. Awesome.
It's a heritage listed pub. We're going old school. There's a big old sit down on a stool in front of the pub and have a couple of pints area there. So what we're sort of trying to mix is a very broad concept of what a gaming club could be. It's not a niche thing, but that said, we are going to appeal still to niche audiences. The place is going to be a little bit of a mecca for old school and nostalgia, pinball and arcades. We've got a significant amount of them. We're going to have 15 pinball machines, 25 arcade machines.
Wow.
We're running on probably about 100 board games. We're probably going to have about, let's say, 20% of the ones that you'd walk into a bar and say, hey, I don't know what board gaming is in any capacity. Connect 4 sounds good. The other 80% will be what you'd consider modern tabletop gaming.
Settles in Catan.
Sure, and then some.
That's the only other game you know, isn't it, Puck?
It's we're going to call it a curated list of board games. Beyond that, we'll probably have a few old school consoles. Everything's original, nothing's a recreation. Everything's a traditional old cabinet. The guy that I'm partnering with for this venue is a phenomenal pinhead who looks very similar to us hairless creatures. And he usually runs pinball competitions around Australia. So I come from a bit more of a very broad gaming background. I love gaming in every capacity. I couldn't care what kind of gaming it is, whether it's classic video games, modern video game consoles, RPGs, miniatures, fucking Words with Friends on my phone. I don't give a shit. I love games in every variety. I try to fit one into every single day of my life. That's sort of the gaming spirit that I want to bring to this place. One that's not elitist, one that's not very narrow, one that's very broad and welcoming of everybody. But not only for that, we want to do that with the pub as well. So in terms of the drinks, I have another bar over in Milton called the Scratch. We focus on microbreweries around Brisbane and Australia. We will be bringing a lot of that to this venue as well. We'll be doing some cocktails on tap. We're also doing a really, really fun kitchen. So trying to be pretty creative with that. Do a really lovely sort of fun pub style menu, but really catering for sort of like dietary requirements as well and people with particular things. So we'll be really sort of vegan friendly, gluten free friendly, and really. I know, right?
Puck,
But the general attitude of the place is to be broad and friendly to everyone, but to focus it all around gaming as a variety. But also with that real ferocious theme. So obviously, we put out the logo and stuff early in the week, which is Netherworld. It's a big sort of like it's like the Luna Park face, but if it was a devil, we're gonna have a lot of fun in terms of everything that's in the Netherworld will be a denizen of the Netherworld. It's an inhabitant of it. We're talking about. I know you like this, Reese. It's the Underdark. It's very themed. It's going to be very fun. But yes, okay. If we're going back, so that's the general broad theme of the place. It's quite a big place. It's 400-ish square meters, which is much larger than I'm used to. That's what you'd classify as an actual proper pub.
Yeah.
Which is quite a little bit counter to the small bar movement in Brisbane at the moment. That's a proper pub, and we're terrified. Don't get me wrong. It's a big step up for us, and I've not spent a lot of time in the Valley over the last bunch of years. But hey, we're ready for the challenge, and we're ready to be something different that's in the Valley. Going back to your question in terms of community engagement, fuck yes, absolutely. So basically,
done. We're there
from the get-go. The general attitude and the general vibe of the place has been, look, we're doing this because we give a shit. We're not doing this because arcade bars are a hot topic in Brisbane at the moment. We're doing this because we genuinely give a shit about gaming and we want to engage with the community. So this is a bit of a one for you, one for me, or a little bit of a back and forth. We're going to have to work with everybody to see what works and to figure out where that relationship lies. So basically, we absolutely will be engaging with everybody to see how we can possibly help the community, how the community can be involved with us. But at the end of the day, what we're interested in creating is a community hub, a Brisbane hub, that if people go, hey, what's cool to go to in Brisbane, and anyone gives a shit about gaming, they're like, you cannot go past Netherworld. That's the place you need to go to. That's the place we're aiming for.
You've blown every single part of my mind because I've been waiting for this for the last. I'm just working out exactly how old I am. Yeah, and
that's it. Like that's it. Like we're adults now. We can do what we want. So it's like, right, you want to do a business? Fuck it. Let's do a gaming bar. That'll be great.
Okay, I just point out that that hilariously, like we with Dutch Potato, we currently have some fairly large chat groups that we run through Facebook. So the biggest one, the main one, there's 71 people in it. So it's a big one. And I just said, I'm currently interviewing, the guys who are opening up the new gaming bar in Brisbane. And I said, does anyone have any questions? Because I thought, these guys are the regulars to Dutch Potato. These are the ones who come to games every single week.
Yep.
First question is, where is it? And the second one is, so all games?
So
can you clarify what all games means?
Yeah.
Like that's
I think I think okay, if we were to limit the concept of all games a little bit. We're not okay, so
no, don't answer that question. They're going to listen to this fucking podcast and they're going to know that was a stupid question.
They're trolling. They're trolling you, Pug. Those were two of the worst questions ever.
Oh, here we go. Question number 3. Are neckbeards welcome?
Neckbeards are welcome, provided you're lovely human beings. If you are a neckbeard that is not a lovely human being, you are not welcome.
Oh well.
Is that a fair answer?
I'll give him the bad news later.
I like the pub rules. Don't be a dick.
So if you walk into this place, the first thing you're going to see is a picture of a clown with a cross over it. No clowns allowed.
Excellent.
The venue, and this is similar to our last venue as well. Look, it's going to be a little cesspit of fun, absolutely. But if you're a dick, it's not going to be a home for you.
Awesome.
All the people out there that are listening that are dicks, well, don't listen anyway because we don't want you listening. Go away. Fuck off.
So we announced the place on Tuesday, and I read through a bunch of the comments, and sort of like it was really nice to see that there was a good, excited reaction to it. But there were a lot of comments that were like, "Oh, so it's like the Manor Bar," and so like, well, no, it's not. Like sure, it's in the gaming sphere, but those are very two different sides of the coin.
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of the gaming sphere.
Yeah,
and see that's what comes down to the heart of. Really, the only way that the Manor Bar went wrong is because it didn't appeal not to the larger audience, but it didn't appeal beyond an extremely niche audience. So we all loved it, but for example, like my wife, it's not that she hated it; it's just every time she thought of going there, I was like, no, it's too small. I'd rather go to a place down the road to have a drink. So as a result, you tended to just get the niche gamers in the room. Whereas really,
but on the other hand, I don't think they had a responsibility to be anything other than what they were. I don't think they had a responsibility to be anything other than a very niche place. And I'm glad they did it. And I don't think that we'd be doing what we did, we are doing right now without at the very least that precedent. And it's a weird one because sort of people look to us and they're sort of like the question that we get a fair bit at the moment is sort of like, well, if that precedent failed, why are you doing this? And so like, well. And that's a tricky question. But in my heart, I know the broad scheme that we want to go for. I know the community that we want to build. It's a big project for us and one that is earth-shatteringly scary for us. I think the broad audience that we want to reach, to me, is the right way to go about it. That if at the end of the day, we've got 3 very distinct rooms in this place, right? We've got a corner heritage pub. We've got a middle area that's got a bunch of pinball machines and a diner. And we've got a side room that's pretty much going to make up the majority of the arcade machines and this big stage. You can absolutely 100% go to this place, not play a single game, and arguably still have a very good time. And I think that's important. That said, if you want to go there and just lose yourself in a sea of games for the entire night, you can absolutely do that. Shit, you go to this place by yourself and have a balling time.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. You'll find me living under the bar. 3 weeks later, I'm never going to leave. But
beyond that, whilst we still want to be very broad, we still want to do right in terms of a lot of the purists. We still want to do right in terms of what people consider a good experience. So, I mean, especially with Jimmy, my partner, who we're doing with the pinball and stuff, like his level of quality, his standards in terms of the pinballs is arguably as high as they could possibly be. So anyone that's very hardcore into pinball is going to come to this place and hopefully have a very good experience and not walk away saying they were machines that weren't maintained. They were people that didn't know what they were doing. Right. And that's what we'd like to bring to the arcade side of it as well. And with the console stuff, it's a little bit simpler. We can have a lot of fun with that. We're going to put a bunch of consoles in there, and we'll just rotate the carts on a daily basis. So
yeah, see, that's
every day will be a surprise.
I think everyone, in terms of talking about the quality of the systems, everyone's been to that fish and chip shop in the middle of nowhere that has a pinball machine that's just fucked, and you like start it, and the ball will immediately get stuck at the top, and then you cry and walk away. And that's the sad thing is, I know people that's been their only experience with those machines, and they've never played what that thing is supposed to be. As people, there's people that I associate with quite a bit that are of the generation that came after the arcades, and they don't really know what they are. I know someone that saw, because they'd never seen the original because they're too young, they saw the recent Tron movie, and they're like, what the hell's the arcade? I'm like, really? Get out of my house. It's like, you disgust me.
They don't know what they don't know what a lock-in is. The glory of that.
Wrong.
I still remember. Do you remember that arcade machine? It was the Dungeons and Dragons arcade machine.
Yeah,
and
it's one we've been looking for. We haven't found it. So.
And remember how massive the game was? Like it was a phenomenally large game as far as arcade games go. And I still remember in a lock-in, we went through. I think we worked out. We put the equivalent of about $1,000 into it and finished it. So, but we obviously didn't put actually $1,000 into it. We just were counting the credits that it took to finish this damn game. It was massive.
See, but
it was awesome. Surprising. So one of the tests we've been doing recently is a good friend of mine has got a really lovely little main cabinet at home, and we've been going through games that we want or games that we have, and just saying, all right, cool, we're gonna push through the credits and see how many credits it actually takes to get through the end of this game. And some of them are really kind, some of them are really lovely. One of my personal favorites, which is Altered Beast. That is
yes.
That is fucked up. If you think you're finishing that game for anything less than $50, you're kidding yourself.
Yeah,
that's maybe a game slightly better suited for maybe home console. So that might be one we put onto Mega Drive free play as a
I own that. I think that was a game. I think they used to give it away for free. I think it was one of those ones. So it was like Sonic, Altered Beast, and Golden Axe. I think the 3 ones they used to always give away.
All beautiful games.
This is going back to
the best thing about Golden Axe is that it's friendly fire.
That's not the best thing. Oh, you're one of those players. Great. I'm not playing with you.
So coming back just to the tabletop side of things. So now that we've gotten warmed up, the nerdlings are starting to come up with real questions. So in terms of like with D&D, for example, right now we've got a couple of venues who we can get about 6 to 10 tables of D&D running, so we can effectively have about 40 people at once playing D&D. Do you have that kind of capacity that we can?
We totally do. In terms of the D&D side stuff, so this is the conversation actually started quite early about D&D and the venue, and we resigned it to a work in progress and a conversation in progress. It's something we definitely want to do, something we 100% will explore. And if you guys are keen, absolutely, let's do it. But
if you've got the space, we will fill it.
We'd like to see how it rolls because it's going to be a very interesting thing. Because this is a fairly untested thing in Brisbane, we're very curious to see how the actual balance evolves in terms of people standing up, people eating, people actually utilizing the dinner and the diner, people playing games and doing it at the same time. In terms of D&D, it's like, all right, cool. We can fill every table with D&D. That takes it away from the diner, but that's okay because that'll be part of the fun of it. But it's going to be an experiment and something that we'll jump out there and we'll see how we go. I popped my Dungeon Master cherry last year, and have been having a lot of fun with it. It turns out that trying to open a new venue and DM a group at the same time is fucked. Really, really fucked.
There's a question there that I had for you. In terms of all the machines that you've pulled together, twofold question. One is, where do you actually source a lot of those? And the second one is, how long have you been kind of building up this cache of machines for in order to get ready for this?
I won't lie. My garage is very full at the moment.
You have a dream garage by the sound of it. So.
You'd think that, but there's no room to actually be comfortable in front of any of the machines. So this has been a work in progress for a long time. So this is something that we have actually been exploring for about a year and a half now. But our big rule was we didn't want to do it until we found the right venue. That took a very, 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 very long time. Until the point that we got the particular location in the Fortitude Valley. We actually looked at that very early on, and it was much too big. And we came back about 6 months later, and the owner was willing to split the venue up into various areas. So that's what we were working with there. So we had a long time to sort of prep. So basically, a year ahead of that, we'd curated and we'd written a list of what our dream machines were, and what our favorite pinball machines were, and for the most part, we've achieved that list. Something that we felt was representative of a good spread of gaming through the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And as far as the pinballs go, even modern ones as well. We've pretty much got our list, and what we've ended up doing is we've got a few key people that we've got relationships with. So we probably own about 25% of the machines. And then we've got a group of a few people that we have good relationships with that are involved in the venue as well. These guys come from very serious arcade background. They're very heavy on the maintenance. They're very heavy on looking after the machines. So basically what this has provided us is an opportunity to make sure that we're not going to be one of those venues where people go past and say, well, it's fun, it's great, but they don't look after their machines for shit.
Yeah.
It's an important aspect of this place to us that if people come through, that the pinball machines are well maintained on a seriously weekly basis to make sure that everything's good. That the arcade machines are all in tip-top order, that they're all working properly. And even beyond that, that even the board games aren't just like put out into the open and you've just got missing pieces. We're going to require the audience at the end of the day to really inform us and to really let us know if there's any issues whatsoever. But the best that we can do is do our best to make sure that everything's maintained to its best version. Can I ask what you guys are playing at the moment?
D&D mostly.
Puck's all D&D.
I currently participate in about 22 D&D games a month.
That's absurd. That's great though.
He's the D&D master.
Well, are you how? Okay, what's the percentage of DM versus player there?
No, you're just DMing. He's master
I'm
DM.
just DMing.
I guarantee you, I would love to come. I'm definitely coming along to something when I get the chance. I
was going to say it'd be good.
I will be your murder hobo. I guarantee it.
Yeah, well, they're all murder hobos. I'm going to point somebody out, and I know that they listen to this podcast. She fucks everything.
You've talked about these people before.
I have a campaign where they didn't kill a single boss. They just fucked them all.
They just had sex with everything good.
That's one way to, I suppose, if it's a technique that works. So, well, there you go. My background is I'm probably more the pixels half of the Dyson Pixels. I'm traditional video game. Like I started out. Oh wow. I would have gone VIC-20, Master System, Mega Drive, Nintendo, PC. Hung around PC for a long time. Xbox, Wii, Xbox, PC, PS, and I just bounced around through it all. So I started in that realm, and I only got into table games probably about 4 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago, I started actually looking at tabletop games. Until then, I basically, when I thought tabletop game, like the only thing I could think of were things like you mentioned before, like Connect 4 and Monopoly, and all of the ones that are actually terrible. I shouldn't pay them out. There's a pretty good.
I really want to do a version of Monopoly where you have to role play your experience as a family in context to what's happening to you in the game as you go. So basically, as you go, you're not allowed to do a turn without describing the effects that the actual monetary pressure is having on your actual personal life.
That's great.
I would play that.
That's
I feel like that's a fun game. Are you guys watching Westworld?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't. Okay. He says yeah. I'm going to point
it great in the end?
Oh, wait, no.
The end of it, end of the whole series, isn't it?
Stop there. Because I'll tell you why I'm picking on Puck right now. Because 2 days ago I said to Puck, "Oh, have you seen Westworld yet?" And he went, "What's Westworld?" So you can't. I haven't had a chance to see it yet, and I told him, and he's now gone off and watched a bunch of it. So I haven't even. I'm watching my first episode tonight. I'm really, really looking forward to it. But
I
yeah.
just like the best thing about it is it's the first metagamer I've ever seen in a TV show. There's one character in it that is straight up the worst player you could ever imagine ever running in a DM campaign.
In wrapping up, I know we haven't got any exact date. It's early first quarter next year.
We might get there earlier than that. Like, it's a pretty open thing at the moment. The reality of opening a small business that has a lot of things banking on council giving approvals for is that you can't really dedicate a very specific time to it.
Yeah.
At the moment, everything's looking okay. We'd love to open in December if that's possible. That may not be a reality, but it'll be any time between December and January.
Well, everyone go and check it out anyway. We'll drop the links to. I think we've done it before. We'll drop the links to the landing page, which is up at the moment.
I think the best places are going to be to follow it on Facebook and Instagram.
That's what I'm thinking. Everyone follow that. We'll link that
Netherworld
too.
Arcade. Netherworld Arcade is the tag. But if you follow on there, you'll see a lot of good things. We'll slowly do a reveal. We'll do a bit of a games list in a couple of weeks, and I think most people are going to be pretty happy with the games list that's coming up. And then, maybe I'll catch up with you guys in a month or so or something. We can talk a little bit more about the tabletop side of things and things that are specifically interesting to you guys. But I guarantee you that there is a lot of fun things that are going to happen here. We're not going to take it very seriously, but we're going to take it a bit seriously, if you know what I mean.
There's going to be alcohol and gaming.
Yes. And
It is
food.
not possible to cock that up.
And lots of friendly people. I guarantee it's possible to cock that up. I've seen people do it before. But anyway,
So everyone check that out. Netherworld Bar and Arcade coming soon to Fortitude Valley. Cool. Well, that brings us to the second part of our show. Horror games. Scary games, Puck.
Well, I mean, there's quite a lot of horror games coming out now. I mean, when you look at like the big buggers, I mean, have you?
Yeah, okay.
Well, they're big buggers. Like have you seen, for example, have you seen Allison Road?
Allison Road.
Yeah,
Sounds like a band.
Yeah, you should check it out because some of the screenshots of it look like it's going to be genuinely terrifying.
Excellent.
Oh.
Oh,
So apparently it was inspired by
a nightmare somebody had. Looks like it.
Well, no, apparently it's been inspired by Silent Hill.
Oh, okay. That'll be okay. That will be
So
2 parts amazing, 3 parts awesome.
But the good thing about it is that it's being released on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox One.
Yeah.
So it's not. Yeah, it's yeah.
That's good.
the
I
other
like
thing too-
I like me a bit of couch gaming. Like some of that.
Yep. And the other one, which looks very interesting and horrific, is Layers of Fear.
Oh yeah,
Now,
I've been looking at that.
Oh my god. It looks horrendous in a good way. But yeah, for those who haven't heard of that one, it's basically about a painter that gets obsessed with painting a masterpiece. And the more he obsesses about it, the more he goes insane and goes basically, or was it drifts into madness and alcoholism? Apparently.
Yep.
Yeah.
It looks dark and fantastic.
Yeah, it's first person one.
I got
there's there's a Steam early access trailer up, but that's about all there is at the moment.
I got a chance, it was a few weeks ago, to have a little play with the PSVR early. I think it was pre-release at the time. Demo of Resident Evil 7's Biohazard VR thing.
Oh yeah!
Wow! That is a game. That's a game series that they shouldn't have adapted for VR. Because no matter how prepared you are going into that, it's still brown trousers time. That was horrifying.
Yeah, so on the
everyone
Oculus,
get it. It's great.
Oculus Rift. I think it's just go to YouTube. Go to YouTube now.
No.
And search Oculus Rift Asylum.
Oh, is that the movie?
No. It's a game. But there's what's his name? What's the name of the Scottish guy?
Thanks.
Is it Jacksepticeye?
I was going to say Peter Capaldi.
Irish guy.
Oh,
sorry.
welcome to Jacksepticeye. That guy. Jacksepticeye.
Yeah, so if you search for Oculus Rift Asylum, he's like the third video down. It is fantastic. This guy, I think, literally shits his pants. Like halfway through.
He's possibly, some of his game reviews are some of the funniest, most bizarre things I've ever watched.
Yeah, have you seen the one for the goat simulator?
Yeah, that was fantastic. But now, while we're promoting unpaid other podcasts, vodcasts, actually, go check out Jacksepticeye. The guy's insane. It's fantastic. No, I will check that out. So, but yes. I don't think we have any news this week. Anyway, I do have something that I wanted to lead on to from last week, which was I tried out Gumballs and Dungeons. Puck.
What did you think?
I thought it was good until I suspect that they nerfed it in the way I thought they might nerf it.
No, see, I thought you might have said. I thought that might have happened, and then I went and had continued playing it, and I was fine.
I'm stuck.
So,
I played it for about 40 hours straight, with a small sleep in the middle, and I don't know how far I got, but I've gotten up to a point where I can't go any further. It's too hard for me to do anything.
There's a couple of dungeons which are supposed to be like that. Once you get through a handful of them, you get the what are they called? The unlimited dungeons. They're just unending.
At the end of the dungeon.
That is.
Oh, you didn't get the reference. I'm going to kick you. Ugh.
No, I didn't.
Ashante Dagger, Eddie Murphy, Golden Child.
I have not seen that movie in literally like 25 years.
Exactly. Well, your memory's crap. You're obviously old. You're over the hill, and you suck. Another horror game. Actually, no. On the subject of horrifying things, only because you mentioned it to me yesterday in passing. What is the deal with this iPhone and Android game, Places I've Pooped?
Oh, yeah,
or whatever
man.
it's called. Why do you
not a
sound
game.
excited? It's not a game. It's a way of life.
It is a way of life. Yeah, I noticed it yesterday when I went into the App Store. One of the trending items. Let's see if it's still there. Let's see if it's still trending. Hang on.
For all that is good in this world, I hope it is.
It's gone
trending.
now.
Good.
It's gone now. So we had. It was
Would you like to describe
Boost,
to our
Juice,
listeners?
Color Switch,
Would you like to describe
Airtasker,
to all of
Wings?
our listeners what that game is?
Oh, here we go. Okay. Places I've Pooped is a little gem that lets you track all the places you've pooped in the world, expand your territory, mark everywhere you visited bombs away. But then the reviews are fantastic. So the very first review, 5 stars. Proud to say I've pooped all over the world. 5 stars. It's pretty awesome to see it all on a map. 1 star. My location pins keep disappearing off the map because other people poo where I've pooed.
Hey, well, no. If someone marks on top of your territory, you've lost the claim.
And this is my favorite one.
Capture the
This
flag.
is
Once they've captured the flag.
Yeah, this is disappointment. This is just disappointment personified. 1 star. Can't search for friends who've also downloaded the app.
Oh, well, such a shock. Sounds like a 5-star app. So anyone out there that'd like to poop their way across Europe, go grab that app. Exciting.
That sounds like a fantastic app.
Sounds like the worst. I know a lot of people that would have won Mexico while they were there based on their gastric experiences in Mexico.
It's kind of like Pokemon, but playable.
No, it's really not. You want to know one of the key differences? 1, the poop game has a tracking system. Yeah. Sorry, all of the Pokemon listeners that have enraged, thrown their phones down, and never played it again just cheered in unison.
Well, okay. Friggin' Pokemon, like, I don't know what was going on with my account, but I'll be at home and, like, my wife would be like, oh, I got another Pikachu. I'm like, how many is that? She's like, 11. And we're like, God damn it. Because all I had was like 40.
That's a lot.
I had like 40 Rattatas. And I'm like, this is crap.
Retarders are everywhere, man.
So I started going for walks, and then all I found were Pidgeots. I'm like, come on.
You got to
like,
walk. You got to go to specific. If you go to CBD, walk around the South Bank, there's stuff everywhere. But if you live in the suburbs or out in the middle of nowhere, you're not going to find anything. Although, interestingly, Woodford, which is not far from here, is a hotspot for weird creatures and stuff. It's a little bit strange. I stopped playing it once they made all of the handy tracking apps illegal, and then they nerfed it more, and then they made it recently, so if you're in a car, because my wife used to co-pilot, because when you're out here, the only way to find stuff is to drive around with someone in the passenger seat looking at their screen to find out where stuff is, so you can go and stop and walk around and get it, right? They've removed that. They had a warning for a while that if you're going faster than a certain thing, it kept popping up, don't do this while you're driving. Now they've just made it so creatures do not appear while you're moving faster than a certain speed, so they've destroyed it for anyone that lives in, any area that's not in the middle of the city. You can hear the rage dripping off my voice.
I don't think anyone really plays it anymore, do they?
Oh, there's that guy. I've seen a guy. There's one guy.
Yeah.
There's that one guy. He might have been. He works for Nintendo.
Maybe the young people are.
Right, moving straight ahead to our horror episode, which is beginning out like a horror show anyway.
Yeah.
There's an upcoming game, I don't know if you come across this, called Pamela.
No.
Now, check out Pamela. Bit of double entendre there. So it's P.A.M. Yeah, okay, it's Pamela with dots between each letter.
Pamela Rebirth?
No, it's just Pamela. It's on Steam.
Oh, the trailer's making me sign in because it's got adult content, apparently. That's how you know it's good.
Oh, exactly. Okay, I'll read it out. Explore, fight, and survive as an awakened sleeper in a fallen utopian city ravaged by a horrific disease. I'm already all over this, by the way. With an array of high-tech weapons, highly immersive UI, full body awareness, and much more, Pamela delivers an intense and unforgiving survival experience. Now, the reason I think you will like this is, if I remember correctly, there is Pamela, who is the omnipresent AI overseer, taking you back to some of your memories of Portal. Except, by the sound of it, she's a little bit more dark. A little bit darker.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can see the... I'm looking just like a real quick trailer of it, just sort of like flicking through and... Oh, wait a minute. No, I have seen this.
Isn't it a bit like Alien Isolation, but you don't get your face bitten off every 3 seconds.
Yeah, that's right. And it doesn't like just every now and again, just things just goes like batshit crazy, just all of a sudden.
You've described life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that subreddit that's all about that? And it's tech support for an alternate reality game, but the alternate reality game is life. So it's just people bitching about how it's just people bitching about how it's like the game's really unbalanced and it's really difficult to progress in your career. So it'd be really good if like the developers could fix that, or the graphics today are really grey.
The graphics are great. The gameplay's terrible.
Well, there's a guy who went on who's colorblind and was trying to get tech support because his video card's not working.
Wow. Okay, hang on. I'm keen to hear about your game. I'm keen to talk about my game. You go first this time. You go first this time.
I was going to say, how about we do my game because it's very, very short.
Yeah.
It's called Alien Worm.
I'm over it.
Yeah, that's it. No. Okay, so it's
Review
basically
is over. How many stars?
So it's pretty much it's a puzzler that you click different items to do different functions, and the idea is that you have to sort of help the little alien worm through the world to gradually consume bigger and badder other living creatures. So it starts off the very first.
So it's basically modelled off the corporate model for business.
Yeah, pretty
advancement.
much.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so the very first one it does, for example, you have to click a few things to make a frog want to eat the worm, and then the worm turns into a larger worm because it's eaten by the frog. Then you have to convince a cat to eat you, and then it eats the cat and becomes bigger, and so on and so forth.
Sounds a bit like the Blob, but it's actually got more of an idea of what it's doing.
Yeah,
a guided
blob. But it's a puzzler. So, yeah. So, it's fun. It's free. It's a mobile game. It takes probably, Look, if you've got a brain in your head, it's probably take you maybe 2 hours to play through it. It's not a terribly difficult game, but it can be a bit tricky. I played it just while I was watching TV, and finished it in a couple hours.
Nice.
If I gave it to my wife, my wife's much cleverer than I am, so she'd probably finish it in 10-15 minutes. So yeah, no, look, it's worth downloading. It's worth having a look, and the developers have a couple of other really cool games.
Is it scary?
That look nice.
Is it horror? Is it really a horror worm? Because I know you searched for it. You found it by searching for a horror worm or something.
I just searched horror to see what came up. Yeah, technically.
What about that other game you found? That looked like horror. we'll go to that next week.
I didn't want to play that one. It looked too scary.
Oh, with its vibrant CGA graphics.
Yeah, man. I've got a 6S Plus.
Oh,
you know,
so you've
it's a big
basically got a
screen.
small television you take around in your pants.
Yeah, it's a big screen.
Do
I
you
do that on my
remember?
iPad.
Do you remember when small phones were the cool thing, and they were getting smaller, and everyone goes, "Yeah, I like the smallest phone ever." I miss that.
Yeah,
I really miss that.
Was it like a Nokia 8210? I
think
want to
the
say
smallest one they got was there was like this tiny little Sony something or other, and it was about the size of a Zippo lighter. I had one, and I kept dropping it under my car seat and losing it. But it was great. I admit, yes, that would not work with a touch screen, but I miss the convenience of, when we used to have phones instead of carrying around tablets.
Now, do you remember having to call and talk to someone for 9 minutes and 55 seconds before hanging up and calling them back because you only had the first 10 minutes of a phone call free?
Oh, I still do that now.
Yeah.
God, yeah. I'm on an unlimited plan. It's just a habit. It's great.
Yeah, no, we've come a long way.
We have, dude. I remember when checking movie times used to involve ringing a phone line. Every week we fall into this. Oh well, back in my day, we used to walk 700 kilometers to school through the snow, and we'd have to drag a buffalo via a rope attached to our testicles. There's nowhere we can go from that. So moving on to my review.
Yeah, man.
I played Oxenfree. Now, how do I describe this game? It's a weird game. It's a bit like a point-and-click adventure without the point-and-click. And I realize I've kind of said, it's like Tetris without the blocks. But no. It's got that really nice, like, painted art style. However, it's keyboard, mouse, or controller, depending on what you're playing it on. Sort of free movement. There's only certain places in the level you can walk and move. There's a bit of walking simulator going on in this as you move around the level and look at different things and interact with different objects. Now, I won't say too much about it because it's one of those games that if I describe it too much, it will ruin bits of the plot. But essentially, you're the protagonist is a young girl who's there with her stepbrother and a friend of theirs, and they basically go to this island, which is just like a off-the-shore tourist island where everyone goes home at night. No one really lives on this island. They go there to, party, get drunk, and because one of the guys has said, well, there's this really cool cave there. If you go to this cave with an old, like, kind of CB radio and tune the frequencies, you pick up voices and stuff that's not actually there. And everyone's like, yeah, okay,
that's cool.
Whatever, cool. So anyway, you get there, you meet up with a couple other friends, you start to have the obligatory like little teenage party thing at the beginning. Everyone gets bored and they go, let's go and explore. Go to the cave, start tuning in, and then you start hearing some of the creepiest noises I've ever heard in any game. There's a flashing light and something's in the cave. And of course, in the tradition of all American-based horror and thriller movies, they decide to go into the cave. Now, I won't criticize that because without that plot device, it's just a bunch of people sitting on a beach. And that would be the game. And admittedly, that's still better than the youth trainers from 2 episodes ago. But, point aside, they go into the cave. And then really bizarre stuff starts happening. I won't get too far into it, but there's weird stuff written on the walls. They find kind of antique furniture scattered there that just shouldn't be there. And they find that when they tune the radio in certain spots, it essentially opens up this really weird. I want to say I haven't finished it yet. I want to say interdimensional portal, and a being tries to communicate with you, but they communicate by talking through snippets of words from old radio programs. So it's really disjointed and eerie and sometimes difficult to understand. And then you're basically the cave starts vibrating when you reach a certain frequency. All hell breaks loose, and everyone's teleported to a random part of the island.
Right. I'm looking at some screenshots of it now. It looks amazing.
It's really good. I started playing it at about 7 o'clock last night, I want to say, and it was one of those games where it was probably at about 11:30. I was just still playing because I was going, this is really weird. I want to find out what happens next. It's not weird as in it doesn't have a cohesive plot. It definitely does. It's got elements of a ghost kind of thing. I don't know if there's an alien thing going on. I think it's all ghost, supernatural, not demonic. I don't know, but it's very, very cool. It's supernatural thriller, definitely describes it well. And some of the banter between the characters is great. The voice acting, especially by the lead girl, is really, really good.
Okay, so the question I've got then is, what's the soundtrack like? Because on Steam, it looks like that you can buy...
You buy the OST.
Yeah.
The soundtrack, this is bizarre. The soundtrack is very, very similar to the music on my first album. Whoever did this soundtrack, and I haven't checked who they are, their composition style is eerily similar to mine. I was listening to it going, this is cool. Did I write this? No, I didn't write this. But it sounds similar to something that I would have written. I'm just seeing if I can find out who the composer was. It's semi-electronic, synthesized orchestral... it's an interesting blend of genres. Not chiptune, but a little synthetic. It works. The soundtrack really works quite well. It was there was one part that seemed a bit out of place, but after that beginning bit, it adds to the atmosphere of the game. I played it on the big screen with surround sound on, so that I think also added to it a lot. But I recommend it. Check it out. I think it's great.
It looks like it's won a whole bunch of awards as well.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
I picked it up when I was hearing a lot of press about it ages ago, and then I never had a chance to play it.
Well, it looks like it's won the IGF 2016 Excellence in Visual Art, and it got honourable mentions for the Seamus McNally Grand Prize. Oh, that's presumably some kind of sponsored prize.
The Seamus McNally Grand Prize.
Yeah,
right.
Excellent.
Sorry,
excellence in narrative and excellence in audio. So
it's good.
Yeah,
it really well.
Have you seen the horror game that they've like another one that Funcom put out called The Park?
Oh yes,
because you can buy that in a pack.
Haven't played it.
It's a great premise. Like the premise of it, for anyone who doesn't know, is you're a mother whose child has run off into a creepy amusement park, basically.
It's abandoned amusement park, I believe.
Yeah, and apparently there's a button that is dedicated to yelling out for your child.
Oh, that'd just freak me out, man. Or I'd troll. In order to loosen the atmosphere, just keep hitting the button over and over until it became meaningless.
Now, funnily enough, do you remember we had, a few podcasts ago, we had a conversation around a game that I was positive I had on PC called The Last of Us?
Yeah, you didn't, because it never came out on PC.
I know. Do you know why?
You're wrong.
I was thinking it was a different game. You know the game I was thinking of at the time? Life is Strange. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, that's... Okay, that is... couldn't be further from The Last of Us.
I know.
I still liked that. I finished Life is Strange, all 5 episodes. I thought it was...
I haven't.
I
thought
it
free.
was... it's not free.
First episode is.
Yeah, the rest aren't. And if you play the first episode, you'll need to play the rest.
Yeah, but every person I know who's ever played Life is Strange has loved it.
Yeah, well, it was good. It was really, really good. It is
just loved it.
It is what an interactive film should be.
Yeah,
that's how I describe it.
And some people I know, they haven't just loved it. It's been like, this game changed my life level of loved it. Yeah. Well,
the only thing that bugged me is because it was a Square game, and they do this occasionally in some of their engines. the freaking mouth movements did not remotely line up with the vocals.
Right.
And it really bugged me because it wasn't far away enough to be like dubbed anime, which you kind of just accept. It was close enough to not be that, so your brain was expecting it to be synchronized, but then it wasn't. But still, really good game. Yeah, you play that one. Play the first one, then you have to buy the rest of them. Bankrupt yourself.
Like I'd always heard of it. It was always on like my peripheral sort of vision. But the reason why I downloaded it in the first place, I haven't actually played it yet. It's on my list of things that I really need to do. But a good friend of mine, Ren, she just raved about it. And that, like, to the point where I felt I was
little
obligated
bubbles started
to play
forming in the corner of her mouth, and
pretty much.
With excitement.
Pretty much.
Wow.
She's like, it's amazing. You have to play it. And I'm like, I haven't played it yet. She's like, gotta go play it now. I'm like, okay, cool.
What would be?
'Cause, I mean, it's not often that people rave about games nowadays. Like they're like, oh yeah, it's all right.
yeah, exactly.
It's not bad.
I've had a couple of those like life-changing games that you come out of. I can't remember them now, so they obviously weren't that life-changing. Stepped into that one, didn't I? I know I've had games that I've come out of and I've gone, wow,
Name
that
10.
was amazing. Name 10.
Name 10.
10 life-changing games. My life hasn't changed 10 times. I can't name 10 change. Okay. Not life-changing games I had big emotional reactions to. Believe it or not, the end of the first of the new StarCraft episodes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Don't know why.
Okay.
Don't know why. Had an emotional reaction to that. Last of Us was great. Anyone that's played
Well,
that,
I'd love to
the
say I've
giraffe,
played it,
man.
but-
When the giraffe walks in, and you don't know what I'm talking about, which is what makes it beautiful. I am not ashamed to say that there was a tear. There was a tear
Yeah.
because it was beautiful. It was so. It was beautiful, and you'll never know what I'm talking about unless you steal my PS4. and
No,
play
well,
it.
I've
I'd
played it on
recommend that,
PC.
though. You haven't. The Last of Us. God. Oh man, you're gonna get a cease and desist from Sony because they're annoyed. Oh.
Okay, so how about we do a good old fashioned top 5 horror games of all time?
Top
that
5
we've
horror
played?
games of all time. Okay, Doom 3.
Oh yeah,
Doom
that's all right.
3. Only because it came out at the beginning of one of the Silent Hills. Can't pick which one.
Oh,
They're all quite creepy. I'm gonna.
Well, do you want to go back and forth? So one each.
Yeah, well, I've done 2. So you do 2, and then we'll go back and forth.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna put Dead Island on here, but with the caveat that it was really disappointing and it was executed very very poorly.
Okay, so why your list must suck? If
Yeah.
you go, well, I can put it on there, but it wasn't
no.
very good.
Okay,
I
Dead
didn't like it.
Island. Dead Island was highly anticipated. Do you remember the video for it? The slow motion backwards video.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing, right? And the game itself is fantastic, but then there were little things that they was just completely cocked up. So the fact that you couldn't turn off the internal microphones.
Oh yeah.
Right? So when you played with people, you had to listen to them using the inbuilt sound, which was awful, and it made the game unplayable.
I
if
never
you were playing with
experienced
other
that. I
people.
only played it first. I only played it single player.
Yeah, no, multiplayer was unplayable, and the whole point of it was to play multiplayer. So, and of course, by the time they did release a patch about a month,
Yeah,
month
but everyone
later,
had gone away.
it's too late. It's too late. Everyone had left it, and I never really went back to it because.
So okay, hang on. The first one on your list is one that you've kind of just bagged out. What's second on your list? I'm interested. What hole are we heading down?
Okay, second is an old Wii game. Now, I'm sure it's on
Please
other
tell me
platforms
that
as well.
So there's a scary Wii game.
Yeah, House
Okay.
of the Dead Overkill.
Okay, that was good. Yeah, no, that was good. That was good.
Oh my god, so much fun.
I played that a lot.
Yeah, we actually went and bought a couple of like proper guns off of eBay to play it on the Wii. Fantastic. I still remember I had a group of friends come around before we were having a barbecue one night, and we played it literally the entire day in order to clock it, and we were so excited because we got right to the end. And have you finished it?
Yeah.
So you know at the end where the guy comes out of the giant
yeah, wow,
zombie thing.
You're testing
And
my
there's
memory
like,
now.
I miss being inside Mother, and then climbs back inside her.
Yeah,
Gross ass, right?
yeah.
So
I
we
remember
played.
that
We
now.
played. Yeah, we played all the way through that, and then we had an idiot turn up whilst we were playing through it again, because we had it. Because then people started arriving, and we are like, "Oh, you should have seen this last cinematic. It was ridiculous." And we were telling them, and they were like, "Oh, I want to see that." So as people are arriving, we started playing through it again. And we finally got to the end, because you can't repeat the bloody cinematics.
No.
And we finally got to the end, and one of the last people to arrive is someone who I'm no longer friends with. Not because of this, but
this
is
played
no longer...
a part in the,
It's
in the
played a
larger
part.
picture of why this person's a dick.
Got to the end, and the cinematics started, and some of the gross parts started, and one person in the room goes, "Oh my God, this is ridiculous. Make it stop." You know, and when someone says that, they don't actually mean make it stop. You know, they mean this is crazy.
Yeah.
So this person skipped the cinematic. I'm like, are you serious? It just took us 4 hours.
Yeah, right there.
Of this playthrough.
Right there. No longer a friend. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have needed to play a part. I don't care. You could have been, standing alongside me my whole life. You could have saved my life. You skip a cutscene that, especially if I haven't seen the cutscene, you're gone.
Yeah.
You're dead to me. Get out.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
man.
really awkward.
Well,
But
okay, hang
yeah,
on.
so-
Next on my list, going back away, the original, and I know you haven't played the original, the first American McGee's Alice. That was
I have played the original. It's
that
great.
was awesome. I loved that one.
That was a lot of fun.
Your next one? We're up to 3.
Okay, I'm going to go an old classic, Left 4 Dead 2. That is still...
Yeah, that was great. Not Left 4 Dead 1, because Left 4 Dead 1 started the Left 4 Dead trend.
No, because Left 4 Dead 2 is now, even today, is extremely playable. You can still jump in and have fun and really enjoy it.
One is as well. I'd argue 1 is as well.
Oh, but the graphics aren't as good, so it's a little bit jarring when nowadays graphics are in first-person shooters are so good. You know, so Left 4 Dead 2 I found also all the different game modes as well. You don't have to be multiplayer. So when we were over in Canada, the end of last year, we didn't really have internet. So I made sure I loaded up a couple of games so that if there was ever a time when I didn't have anything to do, or it was nighttime or something, we were stuck in a hotel, I was able to play something. And Left 4 Dead 2 was great because you don't have to be online to play. You just jump in and go, which is rare.
Okay, next one on my list is Dead Space. Dead Space
I never
was
played it.
friggin' terrifying. It was the first two were just downright terrifying. You know how you were playing Doom that night and you had if you had been playing Dead Space instead of Doom, you would have needed therapy for the rest of your life. That game the first two are terrifying. Play them in the dark with headphones, you will you'll not survive it.
But
it was good.
I never really played it. I never got into it. It was one of those series which I always regretted not getting into it. But
I'd give it a go. The third one was a bit different. It was more of a cinematic movie thing. I really liked the third one too, because it was more of an action, story-driven cutscene kind of movie, and that was really, really cool. First two were very different, but I liked all of them. I'm gonna drop in my last one now. There would be hundreds of others. There was a little side-scrolling indie one that I can't remember the game of. I'm searching my hard drive for it. God damn it! But I'm gonna throw in there. Hang on. Where's this game? No, it's gone. Forget it. Screw it. Don't care anymore. It's dead to me.
Last of Us?
It's not Last of Us.
Is it the PC version of Last of Us?
Next time.
It's different.
Next time,
It was different. They even changed its name to Life is Strange.
I'm gonna set you on fire. I'm gonna set you on fire on air. We're gonna do a live podcast so I can set you on fire on air.
Okay, well, I'm going to put my number 4 in there of DayZ.
You're up to 5, aren't you? Oh no, you're up to 4. Yeah, okay.
Number 4. So DayZ was, I think, when it got released. So anyone who doesn't know, DayZ was originally a mod for Arma 2. which is a weird thing to be a mod for in terms of zombie shooter. Right. But DayZ was unlike anything else when it got released. The premise, of course, of DayZ is you get dropped in the middle of nowhere with nothing. And you have to avoid zombies until you can find a gun or rations or something. And the world is enormous, but it's multiplayer. So there are potentially hundreds of other people on the server who want what you have. So there's lots of videos out there.
It's chaotic, Mad Max stuff.
But
the issue that I had with DayZ is it's so punishing. It's like you can spend 4 days finding things, and then you can walk for another 2, and then just get shot.
Yeah,
and it's
by whoever's found a sniper rifle first.
I don't know if you've ever seen. If you've ever seen the episode of Good Game where they reviewed DayZ. It's one of my favorite episodes.
No.
Oh yeah, Hex and Barjo were playing together, and I can't remember how long they were playing for, but Hex like spawned hundreds of kilometers away, and she finally found Barjo, and they were like cheering, and she to avoid zombies, she was basically crawling through the grass, so they crawled towards each other and were yelling in cheers. They stood up and went into this church thing, and there was some guy in there that just shot it in the head instantly.
Wow.
And she's like, I just spent hours. And of course, Barjo didn't care. He was busy looting her corpse. But they spent hours. And that was my experience too. I had a very, very similar experience. It was a game that I played and went, this is fantastic. And then something like that happened, and I've never played it again because it was...
Oh, that's awesome.
It burned it. It burned it out. Now, my number... must be up to my number 5.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a heap that I could put in this list, but... I'm going to say the original Dead Rising. In retrospect, it was a good game. It had a very loose plot, but the reason for it is it was the first game ever where you could effectively have thousands of zombies on screen at once, and you could get rid of them in a number of ridiculous ways, lawnmowers and driving a car around the level and all that kind of stuff. And I liked that game enough. It was an Xbox exclusive for the first part of its life. Did the original ever come out on PC? I know the other ones did.
I think so. I seem to remember seeing it.
Either way, it was the reason I bought an Xbox. And to this day, it is the only reason that I bought an Xbox. And quite frankly, if I knew it was coming out on PC, I wouldn't have bought an Xbox. Because rant time, small rant time. You know how you were talking about Fable 3 last week?
Yeah.
I decided, I missed that game. So I wanted to play it on the couch, and I had saved games from my old Xbox for Fable 3. So I went, I'll go and pick it up. So I bought it for like $7 at Cashies. Brought it home, put it in the drive, played for 4 minutes. This disc is unreadable. Went, okay, cool. Took it out, looked at the disc, nothing wrong with it. It's fine. I cleaned it. It's one of the most pristine discs I've ever seen on both sides. Put it back in.
Yeah.
Played. Had to play from the beginning again. Played for half an hour, same issue. Got a bit annoyed, took it out, blew into the drive, used a compressed air thing to try and blow anything out of the way, put it back in, played for another, I think, half an hour. Again, I had to restart the whole game from the beginning and watch all the first cutscenes and all the tutorial crap. Then I died again. Didn't die again, sorry, it died again. So I got annoyed and went, okay, I haven't played the Xbox for a while. I'll put in another game. So I started playing something else. It's not the disc. It's the friggin' Xbox. Here's the reason for my bitch. I have an Xbox 360. I got a PS3, I got a PS4, I got a Vita, I got a Wii, I got all these other things. I bought my PS3 nearly at the same time I got my Xbox years ago. What's this, 8-10 years ago? Something like that?
Yeah.
I've been through 4 Xbox 360s. The PS3 is still working fine. My first Xbox 360, red ringed of death. The second one, red ringed. The third one just stopped doing anything. It worked. You just couldn't run games on it anymore. And the fourth one, and I kept getting either replacements or warranty repairs or something like that until I'm now using a different model. It's not the original. It's like the new black one that the drives failed in. Microsoft, what is going on there? What hardware are you putting in it? What country are you buying these components from? Because I
You know
know
what console works really
Yeah.
well and never seems to fail?
the Wii.
A Wii.
Yeah.
Of course,
I
there's
thought you
a
were
lot
going to
less
say the
use
Wii
of a
U.
Wii.
I was going to say the Wii U doesn't fail because you never turn it on.
You never play
In
it.
10 years, I've probably played maybe 20 to 25 hours on the Xbox because everything that was an exclusive for it is coming out on PC, so there's no point. The PS3, I've played hundreds and hundreds of hours because all of the stuff on it that's exclusive stays an exclusive. There is my whinge. So, Xbox, get your stuff manufactured in a country that knows how to make components. I don't care where it is. But it's obviously coming out of some place in the depths of Guatemala or so. I don't know what you guys are doing. Shame. Microsoft, I hate you. Burn. You suck.
So on that, my number 5, and this is actually one of my all-time favorite games as a whole, is 7 Days to Die.
I'm not a fan.
Well, you sir.
Well, you
can go to
so too. I haven't
You
played
should
it.
die.
I'll tell you why.
What?
I found that it was a bit bland in terms of the scenery. It felt a bit. I don't really care about graphics that much. I'm more in it for gameplay. But something about it just didn't really inspire me to continue playing. The problem that I have with it is, as you know, because of a hand injury, stupid thing, I use a Wacom tablet to play games, which took a while to get used to, instead of a mouse, because a mouse just hurts my wrist. 7 Days to Die, this is not a criticism explicitly of this game. It's a criticism of some weird export setting or something in Unity. Certain FPS games do not work with the new Wacom tablets. Now, I can probably blame Wacom for that because it works with the old tablets, but it was annoying. I can't play it anymore. I went back to have another look. I can't actually play it because I can't move the camera.
Oh, right, okay.
I can play with a trackpad, and wow, I had so much success running away from zombies and trying to survive with a trackpad.
Well, let's see. I had I've played it in a couple of different ways. One was on a private server that we set up, which was actually great because I found that the way to really have fun with it is you got to hack the server a little bit to give yourself lots of materials.
Okay.
Really.
Okay. So in essence, you're saying I love this game, but the way to play is to cheat. And if you cheat, it's a great game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I don't think you're allowed to have that in your top 5.
Yeah,
because of the way
So
that you've played it.
No. So there's 2 ways to play it. One is just playing it like al natural, right? So you grab your gear, you jump into a server, you start off naked, you grab all your stuff, and you play it as a survival game. That's great. That's good fun. Where I found I had the most fun, though, was actually in building bases and building up defenses and then having zombie hordes come along and try and destroy it and having to hunt them
3D
down.
tower defense.
Yeah, kind of. So I ended up building just a monstrous bloody base. It was enormous. It even had a gigantic castle that was probably
A castle?
yeah, it was probably
Castle?
about 200 blocks.
Not a
about
castle?
200
A castle?
Castle. It's a castle. About 200 blocks high. But it was shaped in the. It was shaped as PUCK over the top of it. It was ridiculous. You could see it from like several kilometers away.
You built a puck castle.
I built a puck castle.
Castle.
But then, like the sides of it, I'd knocked out like certain blocks all the way down and put torches in it, so it created like these really cool like light effects. The physics in it are really interesting. The way that bridges and that kind of thing work, it's very engineering focused. So you have to put supports in certain areas and so on and so forth. So, and if you don't do it properly, everything just falls down.
So
I had a lot of fun.
In essence,
Playing with all the physics in it.
7 days.
Had an
7
underground
days to die.
base.
7 days to die. Really good game if you pretend it's Minecraft.
Sort of, but it's Minecraft. It's a bit Minecrafty, but I liked it because you could do things like I had a farm set up, for example, with all different sorts of stuff. It was a bit buggy, which is a bit annoying. You'd suddenly have like a zombie would like spawn inside the walls. I'm like, well, hang on a minute. How is that a thing? Which is not a problem because they're not difficult to kill. But I found that like after you get sort of to a point, the scarcity of certain materials gets a little bit ridiculous. So you kind of that's when I worked out how to just adjust the like the back end config on the server. It wasn't hard, and all it was, I just basically
Just
made it
cheap.
so instead of, well, no, so it'd be kind of like when you create concrete, for example, instead of your materials creating one block of concrete, it creates 10.
Okay,
So it
yeah,
means
alright,
that-
so it's you've added another mode to the game.
Yeah, pretty much. And then it was, build up defenses
I
and then defend.
haven't played it for ages. I might give it another chance because as well as that, I never played it with people. I just tried it and it was just
Oh, you got to play with people.
yeah. It was there you go. It's the inverse of the Terraria problem that you had. You got to play it with people. You've left out. I dare say you've actually left a game out of your list because it does class as a psychological thriller or horror game, and that's actually Portal.
No, I wouldn't call it horror. That one
it is in a genre that you think about the plot. You have an insane computer that is trying to kill you. And yes, it has comedic elements, of course. But at its core, Portal 2 a little bit less so. But yeah.
Yeah, see, I would define horror as it has to scare me.
Oh, okay.
And Portal 2 is not scary in the slightest.
Oh, okay, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's more sci-fi comedy.
Which is good. Now, I've started developing a list of, and I am sad to say, in terms of tabletop games, I haven't played that many horror-themed games. Now, a couple of note, loose note mentioned, not because they're scary, but because of the basis for them. Cthulhu Dice, which I mentioned a little while ago. Yeah, it's got Cthulhu in it. There you go. Bit of Lovecraftian horror for you there. Zombie Dice, zombies. Everyone loves a good zombie. I'm sad to say I've never played Arkham Horror. I would love to have included Arkham Horror in this list, but I've never played it.
Well, I can actually talk about something quite significant, and that's one of the new, well, not so new nowadays, but one of the campaigns from D&D, which was Curse of Strahd, which is a horror-themed campaign, and it was one of the official hardcovers that came out from Wizards, and effectively you're fighting against it's pretty much Dracula. Right, so Strahd,
And if I recall,
it's a
I
vampire.
recall your playthrough. He was voiced by Christopher Walken. Was that him, or was that one of the other?
No, I tried that, and then it turns out I can't maintain Chris
You
Walken.
sounded like you were trying to do a really weird Mexican Jamaican accent. I couldn't.
No, so I tried to do a, I want to suck your blood. Hello. And what I found is that over time, it just becomes more and more Italian for some reason.
No, well, vampires are Italian. I think the Chris Walken would have worked. Hey,
but-
I'm gonna.
But this
Suck your
this
blood. Hey,
but this this campaign can be played in many different ways. So I've run it now for 3 different groups. One of them is about to finish it. The other 2 groups, we got interrupted and started other campaigns. But every group so far has been very, very different, which is great. And I found it was fun as a DM. It was fun to find ways to make it even creepier. So I did one thing which was fantastic, and it freaked my wife out. Which
shut
was,
off all the
'cause she was-
power mid-game, and they got a bunch of people dressed up as clowns to bang on the windows.
No,
Pretty
what
scary.
What I did is every time they were traveling, I mean, typical thing is when you're traveling, you eventually rest for the night, and people keep watch. What I had was I went and found creepy music, specifically involving children, because children are always creepy when they're in horror games, and put them on my...
Just to slide aside there because it remembered me. Which one of the Dead Space games, it might even be the third one, has a little kid singing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star"? But
Yeah,
it's
I
got
found that.
in minor.
Yep,
Oh my god,
that's what I found.
That is terrifying.
That's what I found. So I put that onto my iPhone, and then got some headphones, and anyone who was on watch had to listen to this music. Now, after like the second night of that happening, people who were in the group started saying, I don't want to go and watch. And it was legitimately transferring then into real life of I don't want to go and watch because it's too scary to be on watch. And which of course translates into the game.
That's fantastic.
Well, I mean, the in Strahd there's a
Castle?
there's an online
Is there a
there's an online
castle?
shop. No, there's an online shop that you can go to called DM's Guild. So dmsguild.com is where people can develop their own content. And somebody's put up a free list of additional encounters that you can get. And the only purpose to these encounters is to creep people out. So one of the encounters, for example, is you hear a scream off the path in the forest. You follow the scream and you find a cottage. And at the window is a young woman like banging on the window from the inside trying to get out. All right. And when you walk up to the window, if you look at this girl, you see suddenly a face appear behind her and grab her and drag her back into the darkness. If you kick the door open, room's empty. Now, there's no loot. It doesn't enhance the storyline at all. All it does is freak people
out.
the fuck out.
Well, I know what happened to that girl. She was taken by a midget in a raincoat to a house because she was
her baby
pregnant.
was harvested
Exactly.
for whatever it is they're harvesting it for.
Exactly. Then she wandered around in the dark for hours, bumping into stuff.
Yeah. So of course now the new campaign that's out is Storm King's Thunder, but Curse of Strahd was the one directly before that. So there's a lot of groups out there that are still playing Curse of Strahd.
Well, that's
it's
the one
great
I only
campaign.
got to have one session, but I started
Yes.
it. I'm keen to see what actually happens. But everyone else would have finished that campaign by now.
Yeah. Well, I think that just about brings us to the end of the podcast for another week.
That is exactly it. So tune in next week for you'll be down in PAX, won't you?
I will be in PAX, and I'm going to go find some people to interview.
Excellent.
So if you're going to PAX and you'd like an interview, well,
okay.
Wind
back. I think you really need to sell that a bit better. It's like, if you're going to PAX and you see us and we're sitting and you don't have anything to do.
Yeah. If you're going to be in PAX, myself and four other of our DMs from Dutch Potato will also be there at the D&D tables for Adventurers League.
I know that James wants to catch up with you, the developer of Astro Attack, because he's going to be down in PAX, so he's going to try and catch up with you there.
As does Alex from Level Up Dice, so I might go and see Alex.
That should be a good one. So we're going to have Puck. Not live, but pre-recorded when you're in PAX over the course of next weekend. So it won't be next week we have that on the show. It'll be the week after because we'll be pulling in the recordings from next week's down there. Next week I'll have a stand-in co-host, which should be a little bit interesting. And we're going to go through some stuff. I'm going to re-record this bit later when I've worked out next week's schedule and who the fuck I have on the show.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good, man.
So, that's it from me, Cuball, Castle.
And this is Puck signing off to go and play some Last of Us on PC.
Castle.